Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier is in the studio. Good morning, Hank.
I haven't fallen yet this morning, so that's the good news. Huh? I brought a personal trainer with me this morning in case I do fall.
Personal trainer. Oh, good.
You can't see him over there.
I
Yes,
see him.
the WOCA has new ownership. It's me. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. We've got, unfortunately, I'm always saddened when we have casualties, but you got somebody, I think you got Brian or Terry or somebody on
Terry's
the phone.
on the phone, yes, sir. Good morning, Terry.
Morning, how are y'all?
Doing good. How are you? You doing all right?
Good. Unfortunately, we do have a couple.
Yeah, who do you have? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir, we do. Thank you. We got two. The first one is a Sergeant Robert Barone, and Robert was with the Sandoval County Sheriff's Office out of New Mexico. His end of watch was December the 6th of 2013. Robert was struck while investigating a accident on the interstate. He was 47 years of age, spent 8 years at agency, and survived by his wife and 10-year-old son. The second we have is a Deputy Sheriff Adam Davis. Adam was with the Bell County Sheriff's Office out of Texas. His end of watch was December the 11th of 2013. Adam was also killed in a vehicle accident while responding to a call of a subject brandishing a firearm. He was 36 years of age, his tour of duty was 7 years, and he was survived by his wife and 10-year-old son. So those are the two that we have today.
Okay, again. All right, guy. Be safe.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Hang in there.
Bye-bye.
How about Brian? Is he on the line?
Brian's not on today. We got one from the fire department, sir.
Yeah, we think we have. Yeah, there was. Yeah, maybe he didn't get it. Maybe he's busy. That's okay. You can go ahead and do the fire department too.
All right, sir.
They call in. We'll talk to them. But
Okay, fire department casualty is Charles A. Pearson. He's fire chief, 76 years of age. He's a volunteer. Incident was, fire department was Southern Jackson County Volunteer Department, Kena, West Virginia. Responding to a fire from the fire station, a reported out vehicle accident. Chief suffered a medical emergency and collapsed while boarding the first apparatus. Also, fellow responders came to his aid, but passed away at the station. And that's the only fire department personnel, sir.
okay, and I think you have found Vietnam
Yes, sir.
War casualty.
Another Vietnam veteran has been identified. It's U.S. Air Force Colonel Francis J. McGoldrick, Jr. of New Haven, Connecticut. He'll be interned on December the 13th at Arlington, and he was on a night strike mission when his B-57E Canberra aircraft collided with another aircraft over Laos. Funny, we keep seeing Laos come up in these things, and we weren't supposed to be there. After the war, July 1978, the Military Review Board amended his official status from missing in action to presumed killed in action. There are now still 1,644 American service members that have still not been accounted for out of Vietnam. And that's it.
That's all we got. Anybody have anybody local they want to mention? Talk about it all?
Yeah, we have a young Marine from Ocala who was wounded in Afghanistan, Garrett Burgess. I understand now he's in Germany on his way to Walter Reed. He's doing well. He was shot in the stomach and shot in the back. He'll end up, for his final destination will be down here in Tampa. the hospital down there.
good news.
His dad works for Harley Davidson
that
right
right?
here in Ocala, which is a big supporter of veterans helping
Yeah,
veterans.
they are. Well, listen,
Derek Kelly and team.
speedy recovery. Let's hope. Okay, Larry.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already gone. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we know that stays to sing God's praise. And when we'd first
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Always hard on everybody, particularly this time of year. It really strikes home when you get casualties. We're going to go around the table and just kind of get some new faces here. I won't say pretty faces.
I was going to say,
they're not
wait a
pretty.
minute now.
They're not pretty at all, actually. You know, Larry, you definitely need a shade or something.
I know.
Or blinds.
Yeah.
We're sitting here at this big gorgeous table, and all the mics, but it's like a mirror in front of you, and the sun's come pouring through.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to build this lawsuit thing up a little bit. Want to say hello, Edwin? Tell them who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
My name's Ed Whitlock, and I work for Vets Helping Vets, and Hank is my executive director, and I'm so glad to be working with him because this man has done wonders, has helped me out
He's got it.
when I was down and out, and I'm so thankful that I'm working to help him, And whatever I can do to help him, I'll be glad to help him out.
United
And
States Navy vet, right?
I'm a United States Navy veteran, a Vietnam veteran, and if I can help any veteran, I'd be glad to help any veteran. And I work down at the Veteran Center. If I can help you, I'd be glad to do so.
I like you followed script, right? When you said the nice things about me, you were following script to the T. I like that.
You wrote that very well.
I stayed up all night writing that.
I can tell.
I might have misspelled a few things, but you followed it anyway. Gary, listen, kind of happy to tell you that Gary Pascal, who formerly with the Salvation Army, and I don't know what your title was down there, Gary. I'll let you fill it in. Anyway, Gary's kind of going to join the troops over there at Vets Helping Vets here come January after he's had a few weeks off and a little rest. And worked with Gary for many, many years. He's done wondrous things down there at the Salvation Army, but decided to retire, and now is going to come over with us starting in January, and looking forward to working with him. But Gary's another, I believe, U.S. Army vet, right, Gary?
Navy and Army.
Oh, Navy and Army, okay. Tell a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been with the Salvation Army for about 15 years. Before that, I was an electrician, and before that, I was in the military. But I've been working with homeless men, and very specifically a homeless veterans program for the past 3 years in the Salvation Army. And of course, I love working with veterans. That's my heart. I love working with all homeless people. But thank God we have more resources for the homeless veterans than we have for the regular homeless folks. And I would like to continue to serve those who serve this nation. And just want to thank God that, in my lifetime, no enemy has ever invaded the soil that I live on. And I have 2 grandchildren serving in the Army, 2 grandsons, and I have a granddaughter serving in the Navy. And I would like to see that throughout the generations of my family. So I think we need to do all we can do to veterans, because it's because of them, we're allowed to sleep at night, in peace, and we don't have to worry about being invaded and stuff like that. And they put their lives on the line regardless of what their job is every day. And I think they need the best of care.
Gary, when did you serve Navy and the Army? What were the years?
I joined the Navy in 1970. And I got out of the Navy in 1975, went in the Army in 1975, and I got out of the Army in 1982.
Outstanding. Very good. And you put that much time in. I didn't realize that. Outstanding. What was your high rank achieved?
Sergeant First Class.
Okay, real good.
Hey, Gary, I have a question for you. There's a big event coming up Saturday. It's called the Army-Navy football game.
He's torn.
You know where? Do you know where I'm going with this, Gary?
Which one you pulling?
There's a no-win.
It's real easy. I root for the Navy in the first half and the Army in the second half.
Easy.
Don couldn't have figured that one out.
Well, accordingly,
That's what makes him schizophrenic.
But I have to add 2 cents in about our country not being attacked. I think we are under attack right now, Gary. With the terrorists, what happened in New York, what's happening in Washington, D.C., what happened around the world. Our property, our dignity is being attacked by an enemy. So we got to be diligent and stay steadfast to the mission. And I do appreciate our veterans out there helping us and supporting us and trying to keep us safe.
Well, every week people tune in and listen to us and really don't, they probably know Larry and I because we've been around 200 years, but the rest of you, they don't know that well, other than a voice on the other end of the radio, and some usually bringing them good news or a few laughs or something along the way, or wishing them a Merry Christmas. But why don't we just go down the table and, because we got a couple of things to talk about, but go down the table and just let them know who you are and where you served and maybe what you did professionally or work-wise, and a little bit about yourself. They know you, Curly, but go ahead.
Okay, well, listen, I have to go way, way back if you want me to tell you.
You're an old guy.
Yeah, just had a
You and Moses served together.
Yeah.
The first Marine Division.
Open up the Red Sea and all that kind of thing. But we're getting back to seriousness, folks. I went into the Marine Corps in 1963 and got out in 1974 after my last tour. wow, it's been such a long time. I don't remember everything about it. But anyway, the main thing is that I served in Vietnam for 2 tours and got wounded a couple of times. But anyway, my experience with this whole thing is that I enjoyed most of my military career. I did a lot of things. I saw a lot of places people just read about, and most of it was enjoyable. And I cannot express the joy of seeing things and visiting other countries and being exposed to many different divergent backgrounds and many different peoples of all nations. So basically, like I'm telling you, it was an experience I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't have given up for anything, but I wouldn't want to have to relive the traumatic experience of being in Vietnam and being in that traumatic area where you don't know if it's the last step you're going to take and that kind of thing. But other than that, it was nice. It was all right. And then I got out of the Marine Corps and went to work for the post office, and then they wouldn't let me get out on the routes. They had so many people that had more seniority than I did, so I stopped working for the post office. I went to work for United Parcel Service, and then I did that for 28 years, and then I retired from that, and then I always was a veterans advocate, but then I became really, really involved in that. And then I've been doing for the last 10 years on the veterans advocate, and I'm also I work for, I'm a VFW commander at VFW Post 7193. I'm also the commander of the Military Order of Purple Heart number 466, and I'm also the president of the Veterans Council, which that's the entire the council that takes care of the park and also to take care of all the veterans units that are members of the Veterans Council. We meet once a month and discuss all the things that the veterans are going to be doing all over the county, and we coordinate and try to make sure everybody knows what's going on. And wow, and there's so many other things that I do, but basically those are the things that I do, and I'm on this radio program as many times as I can get here on Thursday, but that's basically what I do. I'm a veteran advocate, and I do the best that I can for all my veterans, including going to bat for them as a service officer, because I've had to know the book and had to just make sure that they're being treated fairly, and I visit them up at the hospital and at the VA centers, and just do the best I can to make sure that they're being treated fairly and that they're being treated well, and that they get the best medical and the best psychological attention that they can receive. So that's just basically what I do.
That's a lot. Okay. Want to say something, Don?
Well, I mean, I want. Hey, Curly, will you at 0311?
0311, 0331, and 0351.
Me too. I love it. Okay, welcome, brother. I'm Don Harrison.
See, you're doing what all veterans do, okay? And a lot of folks out there don't have a clue what all you're talking about.
0311 is basic grunt. That means that you're a ground pounder. That means that your basic job is to be a rifleman. That also means that you're basically your main thing is to be a shooter. Main thing that you just basic everything. Your job, of course, is to be a Marine first and foremost. And you're a basic rifleman. That means that you are a ground pounder. That means that you just do what you're told, when you're told, like you're told, how you're told, and you don't have any special job. You're just a basic rifleman. And 0331 is your machine gunner. That's another one of your specific job that you do. You're broken down into a 3-man team. One guy carries the ammo, one guy carries the machine gun itself, and the other guy carries the tripod, which the machine gun is mounted on. And 0351 is that you're a rocket launcher carrier. One guy carries the rocket launcher itself, the other guy carries the ammo, and the other guy carries the other thing. So it's you're a team, and you're a team player, and all the other two things. But one thing at 0311 is that you're a basic grunt rifleman, and you just do what you're told, when you're told, like you're told, and how you're told. I hope I made it clear enough.
I clarified it.
Okay.
That's what we use all these acronyms and.
Hank,
Most folks don't
could I
know.
ask you to use your microphone?
No.
I can't even hear you.
Really? You can't hear me?
Nah, it's better.
Now you can hear me?
That's better,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's what happens. We sit around and we talk on the radio and we use terms that a lot of folks aren't familiar with.
Okay. Well,
So-
I hope I explained it.
Yeah, that's
It's-
good. But,
yeah.
you know, my friend down there who was, what'd you have? You had a Remington typewriter, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we'll just start with my career in the Marine Corps as well. I was an 0311, 0331, 0350, which is grunt, machine gunner, 50 cal. I led teams in Vietnam in 1969 and 1970, search and destroy on the Quang Providence, which is on the border of Laos and I Corps. I've been in numerous gunfights. I've been hit several times myself, spent a lot of time in the hospital, got out and got rehabilitated, went back to college, graduated, ended up getting 3 master's degrees, working through the system with the U.S. government. I was an intelligence officer for 34 years for the government, worked in just about every rat hole in the world. I've been chased out of more countries than most people visited. I'm retired. I became the executive director at Northrop Grumman Task as a strategic planner for the contractor to support the U.S. government and what we're doing with intelligence. I was forced to retire by my lovely wife, who moved down to Ocala, and I was commuting between Washington, D.C. and Ocala for 2.5 years every other week. And she thought enough was enough, so I'm here down in beautiful Ocala. And I went to see if I can get some help through the VA, and I met Hank, and I knew we were in trouble.
Welcome to our
So I said I would like to be part of this because I really think what Hank is trying to do with his team, bringing all the communities together. When I say communities, I'm not only talking about the service agencies and activities, but the actual community. To bring them together to work and help each other. Veterans helping veterans, help veterans and civilians. By helping a veteran, you're going to help a civilian, without any doubt, because they're married to civilians, or they're related to civilians. So we help each other.
Amen.
We just finished a charity event that we put together off the top of our head. We just said, hey, what can we do to help the community? That we need some resources so we can start these programs. So we got the community together. We got the Masons from the 15th District right here in Ocala. We got the Marine Corps League, who pulled together the other service elements. And we got Golden Ocala to kick in, and we had a nice event. It was a weekend event. Hank, we were pretty successful in that. We came up with $110,000 for the program. The program is now taking another step, because when you do have the resources, you can start expanding and emphasizing what you're trying to achieve. Hank and I had many discussions about not just output, but outcome. We can give food, we can give help, we can give gas cards to folks. That's an output. We're helping them out. That's a temporary Band-Aid approach to fixing something. But we're trying to move into the next era of outcome, trying to get people to get reestablished in the community so they can help themselves and be productive. And that, productive doesn't mean you're doing something for a company or the city, but it could be just for your family. Helping, extending yourself, working with your family, bringing your family back together. And that's what we're really all about. We're trying to help each other. It sounds so corny when you hear it. Oh, we meet these veterans, all they do is hang around each other and help each other. I was one of those. I used to say, I don't need any help. I'm all right. Me and my friends will take it. That usually was a 6-pack. Me and my 6 other friends. But I think today it's a wonderful program. We got the community. We got the politicians of all people involved helping us. And we got the community. So I think I said enough about myself. I'll hand it over to Robert.
Well, I'm going to pass it on to somebody else before I do any talking, so I'm going to let you do it and explain who you are and about yourself, sir.
Well, he just walked in. I don't know who he is either. Anybody know this guy?
Me either.
You've lost a little bit more hair since I've seen you last time, Pat.
That's not all I lost, Hank, but teeth and a few
Teeth, memory,
pounds
and
and
you are.
did he mention memory?
Yeah, look at your card. Tell you so
Yes.
you know who you are.
I did find my glasses. I would like to say I'd like to thank all the gentlemen in the studio. We care about the community. We care about everybody. That's why we all served our country. We care about our country, and we care about our fellow citizens in all regards. Right now and for tomorrow, I happen to be the son of a infantryman that served in the Korean War, and that's why I ended up being a combat engineer. He worked at a power plant, and I wanted to have some skills or trade capabilities when I got out of the Marine Corps, so I became a combat engineer. Knowing the difference between an infantryman and a combat engineer prior to going into the Marine Corps, I also had a desire to guard the United States embassies, and I followed that pursuit from Okinawa. I served from 1977 to 1990, and as a citizen, individual, ready reservist, I was called back for Desert Storm. I served in the 70s and 80s, and I was raised in Marine Corps boot camp by Vietnam veterans, young Vietnam veterans at the time. When you're 18, someone 26 seems very old, but I also served. My first sergeant in Okinawa was a Korea War veteran, and he was 60 years old, and at age 18, my company went on a 3-mile run, which is the physical fitness test for the Marine Corps, and my first sergeant at age 60 beat me, as we all wore our combat boots. I wasn't racing him, but I was raised an athlete, and he also had, like the gentleman, all these Marines in the studio, but the one in particular mentioned his master's degree. He had gotten out, became an English teacher, and came back into the Corps. I guarded embassies in Central and South America, and that required a clearance, and I was lucky enough to learn a language. And the Marines, no matter where they serve in the country, or excuse me, the world, they have the opportunity to learn what we would call that target language, that indigenous language. Matter of fact, you're mandated to attend language courses so you can better serve your fellow Americans that work within embassies and consulates. So I happen to be a union construction worker, and today I come and always have veterans in mind when I serve. I primarily work what's called the nuclear power plant maintenance circuit all over the United States. We have many veterans in the AFL-CIO. We have very many veterans in the United Brotherhood of Carpenters. I would share with the listeners that the union carpenters, if the gentleman in the studio or the listeners may not be aware, but the number 2 and 3 man in our chain of command out of the 600,000 union carpenters happen to both be Marine Corps infantry veterans. Would also like to mention, from a contemporary standpoint, if anybody's watched the television lately, we've completed a couple major projects in the United States which gained world notoriety. One would be the World Trade Center. We've also just completed the scaffolding at the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. And not always talking in the past, our next project that will be very popular for a while will be the Capitol building. The dome, for those who don't know, will be not replaced, but will be shored up, as we say in construction. It's suffered a lot of radiography, and they know where all the repairs need to be conducted, and you will see union carpenters building the scaffold on your United States Capitol with union ironworkers and union laborers conducting the work on the
It's good about jobs. Anytime you develop jobs, it's good with us, particularly the veterans hired.
Hank, may I just close
go ahead,
with this?
Larry's got to take a commercial break.
I would just say for any of the listeners that have interest for their sons or daughters, themselves, we have a program that gives the honor to a veteran, man or woman. It's called helmetstohardhats.org, and it gives them credit for serving their country and welcoming them to the trades. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Larry, I know you got things to sell and all that good
we'll be
stuff.
right back.
So, sorry.
Hi, Carl Champley here. Join me every Saturday afternoon for DIY Live, your complete guide to getting that DIY project started and finished the right way.
And when you need the right product for that do-it-yourself project, visit the DIY Home Center outlet right here in Ocala, just 2 miles east of I-75 on Northwest 10th Street. From carpet to doors to real wood cabinets, visit the DIY Home Center outlet today and tune in to DIY Live.
That's DIY Live Saturdays, right here on WOCA, The Source.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Howdy, RL here to tell you about a great deal at Dairy Queen. For only $4.49, you can warm up to a hot, juicy combo of either a foot-long, quarter-pound all-beef chili dog or a tasty home-style cheeseburger. Smoking hot off the char grill. Both get fries and a drink. You can add a sundae for only 99 cents. Now that's a doggone good deal at Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, less proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
All right, 22 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to Hank Whittier in Veterans News. Hank?
Hey, guys, we're back. Guys, you remember that song, YMCA? Curly wrote that.
Yeah, I wrote YMCA.
At China Beach.
Funny things you hear while we're off the air.
Things, it's probably a good, it'd be a lot, it's a lot more entertaining, but you can't say it on
No, you can't, just can't do that.
Do you want to take a phone call or two?
Take a phone call, sure.
All right. Good morning. You're on the air with Hank.
Hi, good morning. My name is Steve.
They changed your mind, too.
I work for Marion Senior Services.
You have to tell me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I've been in the Army for 22 years. 22 years Army veteran. And we have a lot of veterans that we take care of. Could you give me a number that I could contact to get in touch with you guys?
Yes, sir. We certainly can. The phone number at our office is, of course, 352-433-2320. And you can ask for me. I'm the Robert Wood. I'm sorry?
Okay, I got your number, 433-2320.
That's correct. You can ask for Robert Wood. I am the office manager for Veterans Helping Veterans.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
Information. Yeah. This time of year, Don said it, Vets Helping Vets works across the board. Now, our primary thing is veterans and their families, but a family in trouble, or if we can't help them directly, we can certainly figure out how to get them some help.
Amen.
And we are expanding. A lot of good things are happening thanks to a lot of you folks in the room and some folks that help us out. So, we tend to be a clearinghouse for a lot of other things that are going on here in town. And Don said it, and I think he said it well. It's not about solving a problem. It's about working together to solve problems in the community, try to make this a better place to be. And I think we're well on the road, and there's a lot of folks in town who want to do the same thing. So we need to put our heads together and do some things creatively and stop worrying about competition and work together to solve some issues here. And there are a lot of them, but I think they're all solvable if we're willing to work together on them. So I think that's why Gary's with us, and Ed and Don and everybody else in this room, and about 500 other people that work with us kind of on an ongoing basis, including, Don said, and some of you, I think, kind of laughed and chuckled about some politicians, but we've got some outstanding people. In this community.
Oh, yeah. I can name a few.
And all the kids that have been in the military.
Kathy Bryant being one, and Carl Zalek, and some of those county commissioners, and there's just the mayor, and a lot of people in this town are working to make it a better place. And sometimes we're critical of them, and I'm certainly doing that on occasions, but overall, they sit down and put their heads together with us and other groups and say, how can we solve a problem? And all you folks who listen in, you're part of it too,
What can we do to make it better?
What can we do to make this a better place to be? And that's what you want to do. Otherwise, problems continue and nothing gets solved. So, and I'm just an optimist. I think you can solve anything if you're willing to work at it.
Well, Hank, we're not only doing what we've said, but we're also the veterans who get into trouble. We have a way of helping them through the Veterans Treatment Court.
Well, again, that's that treatment court we talked about for years, and then finally Judge McCoon came along and had the same idea, and lo and behold, they had your first graduation.
Yes.
And now we're having another one.
We're fixing to have another one, yes, sir.
I was talking to the Peter Brigham, who's one of the assistant state's attorneys. He was talking about it the other day.
Yeah.
So the program's already a success for what has been accomplished, but again, it's because good people got together and decided to tackle a problem. So
we're adding 2 more new veterans coming in. No, not mentors. These are our mentees that are coming in from the criminal
Did
side.
Sergeant Henry show up yesterday?
He did show up. We did not connect because he had to go to Gainesville to do our Lake City. I'm sorry.
Well, there is a need for more mentors.
There are.
And you contact Robert at 433-2320. That's our office. You want to work with some veterans to help them get their lives together through the court program. Could definitely use you, and he'll fill you in on what you need to do and how you need to do it.
And if you want to stop by our office, we're at 1527 Northeast 8th Avenue here in Ocala.
Yeah. And from time to time, as I said, we're growing, so there's going to be more personalities on the radio show that you'll be listening to. A lot of days I won't be here because we're off meeting someplace. So, you might as well, I want you to know some of the folks you're dealing with. We're coming into your living room or your bedroom or your car. Know who you're talking to. It's kind of a scary thought, isn't it, Don?
All right, I'm going to scare everybody to death.
It's kind of a scary thought. I tell Vivian the show, don't listen to the show. I don't want them in my house.
What's this? Is this the federal government?
It's a new federal program. Yeah.
Well, you need to identify yourself a little bit better.
Everybody knows me. I've been around.
Yeah, but what branch were you in?
Everybody knows Hank.
Everybody knows me around.
Yeah, I know.
What branch were you in, Hank?
He was a cook for the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yeah, I would have poisoned you, Don.
I think he did.
Well, it was funny. I had completely forgotten about it. We were out the other night at the Elks Club. By the way, the Elks did a dinner for vets the other night. We had a little excitement there, but that's OPD showed up, and one of our guys had to leave. But that's okay. Listen, you know what? Probably the best thing that ever happened to him, because now he's got to face reality and deal with it. But in any case, it was good. Thanks for the Elks, because they do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Helping us out. But we got talking about stories, and kind of one guy told me, he was bit by a pit viper or a snake in Vietnam, was paralyzed for a couple of weeks.
He's lucky.
Viper.
Yeah,
He's lucky.
Some viper, anyway. But I got thinking about South Africa's in the news now. We made a landing in rubber boats into Southwest Africa, and as we're paddling, now the boats are about 10 feet long, and so as you're paddling, there's 4 of us in the boat. You're paddling along, doing a pretty good pace, heading into shore. We're on an operation, and happened to just look to my right, and there's about a 15-foot great white shark that had come up to kind of check us out a little bit, which made us paddle a whole lot quicker.
Became a speedboat.
Became a speedboat with like an engine on it. Yeah, that's right. So you forget those stories until you get around other veterans and you start talking about it. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time, but it got us moving pretty good. But that's, I've been down here, but you folks are kind of an unknown quantity and quality to a lot of folks out there, and You're in their house, you're in their car, they ought to know who they're dealing with. So.
Yeah.
Robert, I guess you're trying to duck the issue. No one wants to know.
Why not
Law
duck it? I'd rather
enforcement,
for you to talk.
U.S. Army and all that stuff. And let me just I always warn people. The con artists are out and about. Okay, now some of them are veterans, unfortunately. So this week we've had 2 or 3. Their cars broke down just north of Ocala, south of Ocala. They were towing trailers. I'll tell you that all the time I've been doing this for 15, 16, 17 years, I think I've had 2 incidents where the stories were true. Out of maybe 500 phone calls and stuff. And then there was one this weekend, emails going back and forth to all the veterans post about a vet who was towing a trailer and needed help. And
2 trailers.
2 trailers. Anyway, and I told everybody right in the beginning, I said, it smells to me, it doesn't sound right. Well, lo and behold, it wasn't right, and the guy was just making the rounds from every veterans post from here to God knows where, because what they're doing is they're coming south and they want you to pay for it. Okay, so they're making the rounds. And, you don't, for individuals or businesses out there, don't deal with them. Call a Veterans Post and Chapter, let the Veterans Post and Chapter deal with it. We know what questions to ask, how to certify them, and how to verify whether or not that story is true.
Right.
Because that $100 that they got out of you could have gone to somebody who really needed it.
That's right.
And that, it's not that I'm opposed to, hey, if that's how you want to spend your money, but that's money that could have gone to someone who's very deserving and really needs it, and it would have made a difference. Instead, it's going to a con artist who's just using the system.
Well,
so, this time of year, I'm telling you, they're out there in great numbers, and you'll see them standing by the interstate. Do not do it. Hey, give them a card. Have them call my office. I'd be glad to deal with them.
Yep.
If I think they're legitimate, I'll help them. If I don't think they're legitimate, I'll tell them that too. Okay, so that's sort of the story in a nutshell, but I'm sorry to say this time of year is you're plagued with them.
It is. Unreal.
Okay, that's me.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I guess it runs back to me.
Don't tell us everything you did, Robert. We all lied at the table a little bit,
Well, I got in.
Tell them about the, spending time in the brig like Mark did, probably.
Mark, you did?
Didn't I have you, Mark, as, didn't I take you for
No,
Marshall?
probably some guys that look like me, Hank. But,
okay.
Actually, it wasn't me.
A look-alike.
I maintained my clearance.
Well, I'm glad, that cocktail dress never really set your vigor.
The killer shoes, though. You can't knock the shoes.
No problem.
Okay. You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you done? That was it?
I'm done. Leave me alone.
Let's play trivia. And here's what I got today. It's a sports trivia. It'll make you happy, Donald.
Well, it's Christmas. I was thinking about Christmas trivia.
There's only one time.
I have thanks to Peter, I have a $25 gift card from Chick-fil-A. And I like Chick-fil-A.
Me too.
I mean, I was really thinking about using it myself, but
You're
it's
not
been sitting in my
qualified.
desk drawer for about 2 months. But it's still good.
I know.
So if you want a $25 gift certificate from Chick-fil-A, all you do is call in and I'll give you a sports trivia question. It's the easy one. I'm easy to get along with this time of year.
All right, the number is 622-WOCA if you want to call in.
You want to call in and win that?
Looks like you got a caller. Ready?
Ready.
What is that?
Right.
Good,
Hank, you need your head.
Good morning, you're on the air.
I'm stealing my headphones over here. Who do we have?
Do we have anybody?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can hardly hear you.
Okay. I can get closer. I'm out in the yard.
Okay.
All right. Better?
Who are we talking to?
Got Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah.
Dennis.
I felt like getting beat up by somebody.
Oh, I love beating. Dennis, I love beating Army troops
been
up.
beat up for a while.
Well, I'm glad you called, see, because I missed beating you up. Where you been? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Oh, I've been busy.
Yeah.
On vacation a couple of times.
Okay. Are you a big sports guy?
Kinda.
Okay. You know Jesse Owens. You know who Jesse? Okay. He won some gold medals at the Olympics, and I want to know the city and the year he won them.
I would say, it was in Germany, probably Munich, and I'll say 1936.
Well, you're on the money. I think it was Berlin actually, but that's okay.
Yeah,
hey,
you're
but
right. It would have been Berlin.
so you only get half of this. I get
And I get the other half.
so since I answered half of that for you, you know how many gold medals he won?
Was the year right?
Yeah, you're 36. You're right. You know how many gold medals he won?
Golly, I don't know, maybe 12?
No, he won 4. Actually, he won 4. And interesting story about that, and I know no one wants to hear it, but I'm going to tell it anyway. He won the gold medals, and Hitler actually, sent him a congratulatory letter and all of this. But you know who he said he was never snubbed by the Germans or Hitler. He said he felt he was snubbed by FDR. Because
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, hey, FDR never sent him a telegram, never sent him a congratulatory letter, never got invited to the White House. In 1936, that racial card was still being played real strong, and the story is that FDR didn't want to offend
Hitler, but I never thought about that.
Yeah,
But
well, that's
if
according
that's
to.
true, he probably felt worse about not being congratulated by the president.
Well, that's what he said. He said he didn't feel snubbed by Hitler or the Germans, who were, all that racial policy, but really felt like he was being snubbed and was snubbed by the White House. And FDR was in the White House at the time. By the way, one of those medals was just sold. You know what it was sold for?
I don't have a clue.
$1.5 million.
Wow.
Whoa. And they still can't find some of them. So, but that old gold medal that Jesse Owens won, worth a lot of money. And, he was an interesting guy, and at that time it was, quite an achievement. He really wanted
And I think that, irregardless of how you felt, I think everybody was proud of him as an American to go and, especially, it had to be very difficult to go and face people that you knew, because Hitler was doing this Aryan race thing, and he completely snubbed anybody that wasn't a perfect
But isn't it ironic
Caucasian.
that Hitler didn't snub him, actually sent him a congratulatory letter and communication, and our own president didn't pick up the phone, didn't send him a telegram, didn't do anything to honor him for his achievements.
That's kind of bad.
Yeah, well.
All right, now, what am I going to do with half a medal?
Half of a card.
Here's the thing, Dennis. I get to keep the medal. You get the card to Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
okay? So you need I'll give you the whole card since you got 99% of it correct. Dawn thought it was in Argentina because that's what a lot of Dawn's family went to Argentina after the war.
Right after the war.
Immediately after the war. Incognito.
Yeah, incognito.
Hablo español un poquito.
I'll hang up. You guys have a great day.
Hey, let's
Thanks.
thank you, sir. You know how to get it from Larry and all of that, right? Come in and
Yeah,
get it.
I'll get it from them all.
Hey, listen, I hope to see you before Christmas, but if we don't, you guys have a good one, okay?
Thank you
All right,
kindly.
Dennis. Say I was nice to you today, bud.
The two biggest social proving grounds are the sports world and the military.
Yeah, you're right.
Those are the two biggest. That's what
Usually
they experimented with.
They're ahead of the country.
Right.
In a lot of respects, both with race,
guys.
with women, with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Usually the military and sports sort of takes the forefront. I guess you could say entertainment industry too, but I don't count them.
Yeah.
They're in the world by themselves, but not all of them, but most of them. But that's an interesting story about Jesse Owens. He
Sure
had
is.
all of that. But 1.5 million. So I'm looking for those other gold medals. They don't know where they are. I think that Larry's got them in his desk drawer over here at the WOCA. Larry, how did your fundraiser go for your toys and all that stuff?
Oh, it's still going. It's not done
Still
yet.
going
It's
on?
still
When does
going-
that end?
Still going on the 21st.
Okay, you want to talk a little bit about that for just a sec?
Well, that's part of the Operation Feed 100 for to feed 100 people. Usually they feed more than 100. It was only started 2 years ago. 2 years ago they outdid 100, which was the goal. And last year they outdid 300. So this year we hope to outdo more than that. This year is something a little different. A $20 donation actually not only goes to the kids who will help, not just kids, but adults who will eat, but there's some toys. And you see a few toys under the tree already. But you'll also get to go to the WOCA Christmas party, which is at the Appleton Museum.
Oh, outstanding.
You'll eat and you'll have,
So until the 21st, you're still collecting?
Yeah, you just come into the studio and just buy the tickets. It's $20 a piece or $10 plus a toy.
Okay.
And the money goes to the hungry, and the toys go to the children, obviously. So.
Okay. Listen, also congratulations to Toys for Tots. They did another outstanding gesture and year in collecting. Matter of fact, I think they just shut it down this week. So they'll be distributing toys here pretty soon. And by the way, Donald Harrison, you forgot to talk about the float and the dog.
No, that's going to be my job,
Well,
sir.
you better get going.
Yeah,
buddy.
well,
Wait a minute. I was going to say one other thing. There was a big motorcycle ride
go ahead.
this past Sunday. Holly Davison out here in Ocala, the Derek Kelly and team, they orchestrated with the Holly, I want to say the Hog organization, I guess the owners group. And there's about 650 motorcyclists rode down to the center and dropped off gifts or money. And they had Santa Claus down there, and they gave the kids their choice of gifts. They actually chose what gifts they wanted. There were some nice gifts. I tried to get in line. They wouldn't let me because I saw a couple of things that I wanted. But I couldn't get it. But it was a wonderful gesture by the folks, the motorcycle groups and associations. And I thought it was great. And that was just another good gesture from the Holly Davidson
Thank you
folks.
for my bracelet. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't think so.
well, I wanted to
Go ahead
talk
and
about the parade that's
coming up.
coming up.
We got a special
guest.
representation in the parade this
Special
year.
guest coming in. You'll like him very much. He's kind of furry. His name is Colonel Butch. Yeah.
Okay, you sure now?
I'm sorry, I have to remember.
You didn't bring
this.
your notes with you. I
Yeah,
can see that.
that's right. I didn't bring him this morning, but he's going to be riding on a float along with one of our wounded veterans, Steve Lawrence. Will be on the parade float with the dog. He's a beautiful dog. He's served 2 or 3 tours in Iraq, and he really is outstanding. He's got all kinds of medals behind him. So when the parade is going on, look for him and make sure you wave at Colonel Butch and also the Steve Lawrence that's on the parade.
Steve
float.
was a specialist. I'm not sure his rank, but
I
I think he was a
wasn't sure.
specialist. But again, sometimes we forget how an important role that dogs play with the military.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that had a dog platoon in Vietnam, and he said the only time he had casualties is when you didn't pay attention to the dog.
Dog said.
He said the dog was 100% accurate
All
every
the time.
single time. What would happen is the handler thought he was smarter than the dog, and of course in the Marine Corps we know that's not true.
So let me jump in on this one. I was a point man for 10 and a half months in Quaintree, Providence.
Yeah. And how many guys you
got
get?
in, and got in the, we used to
That's why
only
you
have
got into
about
all the
7 guys
firefights.
in the group.
Yeah.
And one time the dog came out with us. The dog walked behind me because I was expendable. And
Yeah.
the dog wasn't.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know.
So who's arguing that?
Nobody except me. I know they're good, but I was
dogs,
hoping they walked in front of me.
They do play a great role. They're still doing it. It used to be that they would abandon some of those dogs. Now, thankfully, they bring them home. And some of them are actually up for adoption. Most of them end up with their handlers, but I'm glad to say that this is a case that this dog served with the military with distinction. So you'll see him in the parade, and give
The
him
other point is
him a
that
little
dog
attention.
was born and raised here in Ocala.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, there's a couple of groups around now that work with those dogs and making sure that they're cared for and adopted out. So it's a good program, and you'll see them at the parade. It's
One
an
of those
interesting
groups
situation.
working with us, Hank, Mike Helfridge, they implant devices in the dog so they can tell if their heartbeat's going too fast, if the temperature's too high. They really monitor these dogs now.
Yeah, we have plans to implant a dog's brain
And
into
Curly.
you. Now the dog didn't like that idea. It was a switch, but the dog got the short end of it.
In the brain I'm getting is abnormal.
All right, guys. I think
have a good day.
we got to roll. Hey, Mark, thanks for coming in. Don't see you that often. I appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you, guys.
You're an activist. I appreciate you doing that, looking out to veterans, and everybody in this room does. Larry, WOCA, and you guys are always have veterans on your mind. I know that. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. God bless America. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. my man.
Appreciate it, guys.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. The economy is a tale of two surges. Spending increased by 0.7% in November, the biggest gain in 5 months, and a good sign for the holiday shopping season.